Rogan just asks questions and he notes the obvious. It's this last quality that makes the people in charge hate and fear Joe Rogan. A few months ago, Rogan watched the White House press secretary lie about the FDA's approval process for Pfizer's COVID vaccine.
This is what the information, some of this misinformation is doing, and misleads the public by falsely alleging that mRNA vaccines are untested and thus risky, even though many of them are approved and have gone through the gold standard of the FDA approval process.
Jen Psaki's talking about misinformation online and combating misinformation. She distributed misinformation.
Of course.
Because she said that it's approved by the FDA and their gold standard.
But when Joe Rogan points this out, it really stings. A lot of the people listening to him believe him, and the White House took notice.
This disclaimer, it's a positive step, but we want every platform to continue doing more to call out mis and disinformation while also uplifting accurate information. But ultimately, our view is it's a good step, it's a positive step, but there's more that can be done.
There's more that can be done? Hey, you little fascist, that's a threat. You're not allowed to use government power to shut down broadcasters who criticize you. Period.
The podcast has been accused of spreading dangerous misinformation. The problem I have with the term misinformation, especially today, is that many of the things that we thought of as misinformation just a short while ago are now accepted as fact. Like, for instance, 8 months ago, if you said, if you get vaccinated, you can still catch COVID and you can still spread COVID, you would be removed from social media. They would ban you from certain platforms. Now, that's accepted as fact. If you said, I don't think cloth masks work, you would be banned from social media. Now, that's openly and repeatedly stated on CNN. If you said, I think it's possible that COVID-19 came from a lab, you'd be banned from many social media platforms. Now, that's on the cover of Newsweek.
More than 250 scientists, doctors, nurses, and researchers wrote a letter to Spotify about the misinformation on COVID vaccines and the pandemic spread on Joe Rogan's podcast. It airs exclusively on Spotify.
If you are looking to stream some rock music on Spotify today, one artist will be missing from your catalog. The platform has pulled Neil Young's music after he demanded that Spotify choose between him and podcast host Joe Rogan. Young accuses Rogan of spreading misinformation about COVID and vaccine.
Spotify now announcing it will add content advisories to all podcast episodes that discuss the virus. Spotify CEO Daniel Ek not naming Rogan, but saying it is important to me that we don't take on the position of being content censor, while also making sure that there are rules in place and consequences for those who violate.
One with Dr. Peter McCullough and one with Dr. Robert Malone. Dr. Peter McCullough is a cardiologist, and he is the most published physician in his field in history. Dr. Robert Malone owns 9 patents on the creation of mRNA vaccine technology and is at least partially responsible for the creation of the technology that led to mRNA vaccines. Both these people are very highly credentialed, very intelligent, very accomplished people, and they have an opinion that's different from the mainstream narrative. I wanted to hear what their opinion is. All of those theories that at one point in time were banned were openly discussed by those 2 men that I had on my podcast that have been accused of dangerous misinformation.